Everybody, what is up? How's it going? It's Kevin Doherty here with Dream Practice Coaching. And yeah, we have another really inspiring live stream interview for you guys today. I'm super excited to have with me today Jennifer Knauf. She's with Corrective Balance. She is a naturopath. She has a private practice, and I'm probably going to butcher this, Jennifer, but it's Wausau, Wisconsin. Am I close?
Yep.
Something like that. Someplace I have never been, but I'm sure it's a cool place. And I wanted to bring Jennifer on to the live stream today because she's yet another one of my clients who's doing some really amazing things in her practice. She's had some big breakthroughs in our work together. And I think hearing her story is just going to inspire you and give you confidence because Jennifer has definitely faced a lot of the same challenges that you guys all face, we've all faced in building a successful business. She's had to meet those challenges head on. And she's really had some significant, profound breakthroughs in both her mindset, in her clinic, in her practice numbers, in her income. Like it's all really gelled together nicely over this past year. This is why I love doing what I do as a coach, you guys, because watching transformation, like I've witnessed in Jennifer, it's so inspiring. And when Jennifer initially came to work with me, to the time to where she is now, I like really feel like she's kind of a just different person, like in a really like kind of upgraded, more confident, more like powerful version of who she is. And that's really what I look for in my clients. I really see that as the basis of their business success. So I wanted to bring Jennifer on just to share a little bit of her journey and some of the mindset shifts that she's gone through, the personal shifts, and then talk a little bit about a little bit of her before and after story of where she was when we started and how her clinic is doing now, and a little bit about, how she's doing what she's doing, how she's getting clients, and really doing exceptional work. So Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me. It's awesome to have you here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So I'm basically going to hand it over to you for a little bit, Jennifer. And if you just want to share like a little bit of your story of, we've been working together now for a little over a year,
yep.
More or less.
Yep.
And you did my program, Practice on Fire, about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And tell, if you wouldn't mind just jumping in, like where were you at that time in your practice? Like what were you challenged by? What was going on for you? And let's start there.
Okay, so I Googled, I felt that ups and downs with my practice, and I Googled how to market a naturopathic doctor, and you came up. And I clicked, so I clicked on the webinar and I watched the webinar, and I was really at that point is when it had me at that webinar. It's like you totally were inside my head. You understood the ups and downs of being in practice, having pretty much a 100% referral based practice, and that's where I was. A lot of business coaches really teach you that you want those referrals, like to really base your practice off referrals. And I did, and I was doing really well, but I didn't have that other part in it. Like I just felt like there was something missing. And I did feel the ups and downs of running a practice.
Yeah.
So I watched the webinar and it really resonated with me. And about 2 weeks after that, you launched your Practice on Fire program. And I instantly knew that this was it. The program, it just looked like it would be a perfect match for me. And I signed up and grew from there, just very much grew.
Yeah, awesome. So tell us a little bit about that. Like you signed up for the program, and when you say you grew, like what happened? Like what happened to your practice? What happened to you? What sort of big mindset shifts did you make? Just give us kind of a big picture overview of like the growth process and what that looked like for you.
And I think that that's the major thing that I really overcame last year was that whole mindset and just attracting the right type of clients and really understanding like truly what it is that you want and how to attract that in your practice. And that's, one of the main things that you teach on Practice on Fire, and just making, doing your, following your advice and going through your entire program was really what launched me and took me to the next level.
Awesome. That's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were working together in that program, like initially, if I recall correctly, it was kind of like drinking from a fire hose. There's a lot of information to take in. It was a lot of new ideas for you. So it was kind of like, it's easy to get a little bit overwhelmed by some of that, but it was also like, I could feel the excitement and also like just this like, oh, finally I'm getting what I should have had all along. I'm finally like learning the right way to do this, right?
Yeah, that's the craziest thing is that, there's so many coaches out there and there's so many business coaches and naturopathic coaches and different people, doing their and teaching their thing. And the way that your program is set up and the way that you have all the modules and the process that we go through it, that's what really, that's what works. That's what worked, which, it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's so good to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now so you went through the program and that was several months ago.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about what your practice looks like now, like your patient numbers and just I mean, especially lately, like I've seen you like really just bust free into an entirely new level now. Like I can really feel the momentum of what you're doing. You said you're bringing in like 3 to 5 new patients a week just from one strategy alone. Like certain things are just working really well. Just give us a little bit of information about like what's going on in that regard and the momentum that's going on for you right now.
Yeah, it's really been amazing on how, again, it's kind of going to go back to that mindset and how, practicing what you're teaching and really changing your whole belief system and your thoughts and then approaching that with your marketing. So doing all of that, approaching that with your marketing, and then naturally, organically attracting clients to walk in the door, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's basically where the biggest shifts have been. And it's been working. It's been working out really well.
That's awesome. So we were talking about this before we jumped on the live stream, that you mentioned to me that you've been able to do all of this, like really get your practice to a much higher level, like just organically through free strategies, basically. And a lot of people like hear me talking about marketing. They're like, oh, that guy's just all about Facebook ads and that's all he does. And I'm like, no, there's a lot more to it than that, right? Like you haven't even done that yet. You haven't even run ads. And that for you and I, that's going to be like one of our next steps because once you start doing that, it's just going to go to like a totally different level. But you've been able to do all of this without even spending any money on advertising. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what do you attribute that to? Like, specifically, like, I know for you, there's been a big mindset shift. Like, what do you think happened inside of you to lead to that kind of organic growth and momentum?
Well, you have to get past that fear, for one.
Yeah.
And, I just think that's just the craziest thing because one of the things that to help you grow online is to do those Facebook ads. And I just find it really funny that out of all of everything I've done in Practice on Fire, I haven't even done a single Facebook ad yet, like you said. And just growing this practice just by shifting my mindset and, following through and showing up, right? And just getting completely out of your own way, which is one of the things that you preach. And just getting out of your own way and allowing abundance to come through.
Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if you had to sum it up, like the biggest shift for you, mindset wise, was just getting out of your fear and being willing to step up and be seen. And so what I'm seeing you doing a lot of is like video on Facebook and just interacting with a lot more people. And there's just an energy of like, I'm ready, man. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to make an impact. I'm ready to attract the right people. And it's like, to me, it's always like a sign of like courage and like, I know my purpose. Like I know what I'm here to do. And I'm not going to let this fear and this conflict that it's so easy to fall into, I'm not going to let that dominate my actions. Right.
Right.
So I've seen that in you like big time especially over the past few weeks. So can you talk to us a little bit more about that? Does that sound accurate to you or is there anything else you want to add to that?
You have to have a map. So that's kind of one of Tony Robbins' original stories, right? He was on the train on the way to Russia somewhere and he literally mapped out his entire like next 5 years. And if you don't map things out and know where you want to go, you're never going to get there. I think a lot of people, especially starting up in practice or being in practice for a long time, they just open up their doors. And I'm kind of guilty of this too. Open up your doors and expect, okay, where is everybody, right? Are they going to show up and just waiting for them to come? You have to really have things mapped out and know what direction that you want to go into so you can attract that and bring that to you. So when you align your map to your beliefs and your intentions and everything that you want to do, it just organically falls into place.
Yeah.
That's the best way that for me to describe how all of that, the success I've had.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And you've seen like at this point too, like it's not just about the quantity of patients you're getting in, it's definitely about the quality of the patients, right?
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about like, and I can't remember honestly like if that was an issue. I think for you coming into Practice on Fire, it was definitely more about like, I just need to get way more people in the door.
Mhm.
But
Right.
you've seen this where as you're working with more people, your value system starts to shift to like, I need to make sure I'm getting the right people in the door that I can actually help. Has that been happening for you?
Oh, that's huge. And I think that when you get to that point, again, like using those different modules in Practice on Fire and taking yourself to really understanding your ideal client and exactly, who you want to attract into your business, you will always get the right type of clients. So you hear stories like that with people are like, they can't afford my services or they complain or, you just hear certain things like that.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, you want to make sure that you're really clear in exactly who you want to attract in, and it comes. It organically will come.
Right. It just all comes from that inner clarity, right?
Yep.
Just like owning it confidently and
Yeah.
being willing to be kind of assertive about it. Like, this is who I am. These are the people I want to work with, and really declaring that to life, right? Like this is what I'm all about. And I think that's something that I've seen in you and like a lot of my clients is this. They come into the program and there's a lot of confusion about that. And I think there is a lot of like, there's a big myth out there that you should just take anybody with a pulse. That if you're really meant to be of service to people and you're trying to build a big clinic or a successful practice, just take anybody with a pulse, just put out an energy that says, I'll take anybody. And I've
even had fired clients before. I've even fired clients where it's like, if you can't follow through and I'm not going to work with you,
yeah,
so
totally.
You want to make sure that you have the right type of client.
Yeah. And that feels really good, right? Like it's coming from integrity. It's like, I only want you to invest in what I'm doing here if you're actually going to show up and do the work. And I can't, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not going to do this for you.
No.
So if that's what
they're wasting their money.
Say it again.
Otherwise, they're wasting their money. You don't want to be responsible for that. So
yeah, and maybe we could chat about this a little bit because I think you've done an exceptional job of this, of like having intention, attracting the right people, and your people are getting great results. I mean, they're having big transformations. It's building your confidence. It's creating more positive momentum. And just the power of that intention, the power of like knowing in your heart, these are the people that I can serve, and having the courage and the confidence to say, this isn't for everybody, and being willing to turn people away if they're not a great fit, and recognizing that's actually a service to those people and to yourself to do that. What it feels like to work with people that are the opposite of that. And it's a drain, right? Like it drains the momentum, the energy of your practice.
Yep. And like you said, it just drains you of your energy, and it's, you can just tell right away that if it's not a good fit. And that's one of the reasons why I offer my free 30-minute discovery call, and just to make sure that we're a right fit. It's kind of exactly what you do too with your practice is, having them apply to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of filtering in the process is huge, I find. So that's really cool. So your practice is still growing. It's still gaining momentum. You're working with a lot of the people that you're meant to serve. What do you see as the next step for you? Like describe your vision at this point. Now you're getting a sense of what's possible with this.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go with it? Can you give us a sense of how far you think you can take this thing?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm actually transitioning more online now. That's my goal, and that's my vision, to just not so much work with as many people in office, but doing more of that coaching and taking their health to the next level online, and supporting them through that of, working on that mind, body, spirit connection. Because ultimately, I mean, that's almost with everybody. You're not going to get the results that you want unless you work on that mind and that spirit, and really making sure that the intentions are right, and that they're fully on board 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, yep. That's my goal of just working online and growing in that area now.
And you're already seeing like so much evidence of how much possibility is there, because like in the past like month, even I don't remember when you started this thing, but you built out a Facebook group of like almost 1,000 people without advertising. And it's really just, I mean, you described this to me, it's really just through your mindset, and it's through like taking action from an inspired place inside of yourself, and just having this almost like expectation that this is what's going to happen. Things are just going to blow up and organically spread like wildfire because you're coming from the right place, right? And it's happening. It's awesome.
And you know what? I have the support, right? That's what Practice on Fire is for. So I don't think I would have been able to accomplish any of these things if it wasn't for the support that was put in place. So that's huge right there. You know, and prior to that, of joining Practice on Fire, I was trying different things and it just wasn't working. It wasn't sticking. You know, I would try things for a little bit and just, you know, almost get that where you're so frustrated. It's like, you know, where are the people? How come they're not coming in? Where's the new people? You can only go to so many networking events, right?
Right.
So yeah, having that support put in place is just huge. And yeah, like we said, working on that mindset, but I'm not doing it alone, right? From having a different perspective of a coach like yourself and really being able to see exactly where you're at and to help you grow and be successful.
For sure. So Jennifer is part of my mastermind group right now, you guys. This is what a lot of my Practice on Fire graduates do is they join me in this more customized setting. And whether they want to keep scaling up their practice or more transition into an online business or kind of do both, that's what the mastermind group does. And so somebody like Jennifer can hop in there and get a lot more customized help. And I find for the online business, the customization, like the personalized support is really, really important because there's so many variables and moving pieces in that to get it really working. And online, it's like anybody can do it, but really the devil's in the details. And you have to make sure every part of what you're doing is working and set up well. So and you've just done this just through having a Facebook group so far, which is like awesome. I mean, it's so basic, but there's still so much more we can put into motion for you to get this going. And your goal is to do more like group coaching, right? Like have a group program and leverage the one-to-many model and not just trade time for money so much. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yep.
And you know, having that audience that you built out on Facebook is a just amazing starting point for being able to like do that and feel like, yeah, I can totally make this happen now, right?
Yep. And then just making sure, like what I'm doing right now is making sure that's the right type of audience. So it's not any different than like working with your clients. Is you want to make sure, you know, you have the right client, but you want to make sure that everyone's in your group and everyone who's on your audience is the right type of people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this is awesome, Jennifer. I really want to just bring you on because I know when you joined Practice on Fire, like you were definitely feeling challenged by your practice. Like you said, like there was a lot of things that weren't working very well for you. You were spinning your wheels. Your practice was not really growing that effectively. And I think a lot of people watching this live stream and just in my community in general, when they kind of get exposed to what I'm all about initially, that's more or less where they're at. Is, you know, we never learned this stuff in school, right?
No.
We never learned it.
Right. And I have had enough business coaches in the past, and you are much different than any of the other ones I've ever had. And it's just really because no one's teaching what you're teaching and really working on that mindset and doing these different techniques that you preach and growing from that way. So yeah, I mean, if anybody's on the fence, whether or not they should join Practice on Fire, I would definitely hands down recommend it. And I have recommended it to quite a few of my friends that have practice as well too, because it's just, you know, if you want momentum, you want to grow and you want to do it quickly, like then you need to take action.
Yeah, for sure.
Do it right away.
Yeah, I really appreciate that a lot. And, you know, I'm glad our paths crossed. I think it's awesome. And it was definitely meant to be. And
yeah, that's the universe, right?
That's it. It's serendipity. And, you know, there's a sense of like, we're just getting started because you have this big vision now of like moving into the online space. And you've really just, you've just kind of eclipsed phase 2 in business, which is this expansion phase. Your practice is pretty much full now. You're crushing it, you know, getting 3 to 5 new patients a week just from like Facebook and organic marketing that you're doing. And now there's all this momentum and we can do so much like online. Like I think I told you, Katie is, who I did the last interview with, she's flying out in 2 days to work with me to get her online business going in the exact same way you're going to be. So maybe that'll be the next step for us. You can fly out to, it's not that far from Wisconsin, and do a quick VIP session to knock this out. But we'll still get a lot done in the mastermind. And yeah, I mean, I really see this as just kind of still the beginning for you of what's possible. Like it's super exciting to think like where you're going to be in another 3 to 5 years. Like just having a huge
I'm going to be in a couple months.
I know it's happening so fast. I'm like, seriously, like 3 months from now. I mean, when you started this Facebook group, like
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago.
Who does like 1,000 people in their Facebook group in like 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could even pull that off if I wasn't running ads. So that's awesome. So keep up the great work. You're an inspiration, and I just want people to know, like, hey, you know, Jennifer she came to me with these exact same struggles of this. Like, she never learned how to market the right way. She probably, you know, just like you, she worked with like a ton of other business coaches. And you know, I don't want to knock anybody in particular, but I think for this industry, like for naturopaths, for acupuncturists, chiropractors, it's a very specific kind of business. It's a very personal process we need to use to market. It can't just be this generic, like, you know, all things to all people, which is what a lot of business coaching is that I see out there.
Right. And if, you know, you want to find somebody who's walking the talk, right? I mean, I just think that's huge. And like yourself, like you are in the holistic world. You've been in the holistic world. And so aligning yourself with someone who's been there and done that is exactly the type of coach that you need. That's
right. Yeah. Well, thanks again for joining. And I hope Jennifer's story inspires you guys. I'm going to say it. It's cliche as hell, but I'm going to say it anyway. If she can do it, if I can do it, you can do it too. If you're watching this, you can do it. You do need to shift out of those limiting beliefs, and you need to have clarity around your marketing plan. If you can do those two things and weave them together, you're unstoppable. There's nothing that can stop you. And I don't care how much competition there is. I don't care what the economy is doing. I don't care about insurance regulations. Jennifer's in a place right now where she could easily use any of that as an excuse to stop her, right? But she's getting amazing cash paying patients. She just raised her rates, by the way, and she's still getting a lot of people in the door. This is possible for anybody, you guys, but it's this fusion of mindset and marketing that is going to get you where you want to be. It has to be both. And I do see that's where a lot of coaches come up short. They're either doing one or the other. It's either like a life coach or a spiritual coach that's all mindset, or it's a business coach that's all mechanics and like, let's just make money and get clients. You have to get both of those interwoven seamlessly in order to get amazing results. So awesome job, Jennifer. Thank you again for joining me. If you're watching the live stream right now or you're catching the replay, leave us a comment below. Let Jennifer know what questions you have for her, or if you just want to share any positive takeaways, or just let her know, hey, that was awesome. Thank you for inspiring us. We'd love to hear that. But definitely leave questions. I'm happy to just hop on and give you any clarity you need about what we've talked about today or just in general. Also, you guys, I'm going to leave a link here on Facebook in the group on the live stream right now. This is a link that's going to go to a little form that you can fill out. And just let me know a little bit about where you're at in your practice. Just like Jennifer and I talked about, I always like to get a sense of where people are at first, make sure I'm a good fit to help them. If I don't think I can help you, I'm going to be very honest about that. I really only want to work with people that I know I'm very confident I can get you great results. Fill out that form, give me as much information as you can, and I will get back with you ASAP, and we'll connect most likely on Facebook Messenger and just have a quick chat and see what I can do to support you, okay? Jennifer, any other parting words of wisdom, any final thoughts that you want to share that you didn't get a chance to yet? If not, no worries, but just wanted to hand it over to you one more time.
I'm really grateful for our past across and all the wonderful expanding that I've been doing. It's very grateful.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you again for joining. Thanks everybody for watching. And once again, if you're catching the replay, feel free to leave us a comment. We'd love to connect with you. And we'll leave it at that for now, guys. Hope this has inspired you and filled you with confidence that you absolutely can do this. And we're here to support you in whatever way you need. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk soon. All the best.